Okay. All right. So I believe that this video is titled Why You Need to Quit Your Job in Japan and Why You Need to Do It Now. So I'm going to start. Where do I start? I guess I'll start first with my results because as of this year, beginning of this year, I quit my jobs, because I had multiple of them. I quit my jobs so that I can do something else, working remotely online, which was paying me pretty good money. And I'll just start with my results because the first month I started, let's say January 2025, I made about 2K. February, I made like 3K. And then March, I made like 4K. And then April, it was like 5, like 4.5K. And then I started to hover around like this 4K, 3K range for some time because I started to travel more. I started to, get used to this lifestyle of not having to go to my job. And then I made 5K in August, and then I cracked the 10K in what was it? October, right? No, September. I did it in September. And I knew I was going to do it because I started to build the secret formula, which was a combination of different habits, different routines, and a whole bunch of other stuff. But before I go any further, I want to say that if you're watching this video and you're on a work visa, you should probably just tune off now because it's going to waste your time. This is not for you. This is mainly for people who are on the long term visa holders, whether you are a converted citizen, you're on PR, or you're on spousal, or you're a spouse of someone who's on PR. I believe it still applies to you. Like legally speaking, you can quit your job, not being binded by the your company, so that you can start making money online. Okay, now that that's out of the way, okay, like guys, let's just talk about money because this is literally it. Is why did I quit my jobs to come this way, to leave the whole, 9 to 5 world, um working in corporate world of Japan, working in English teaching, whatever desk job, whatever job that you've been employed in. Okay, so I want to start first with my original reasons for why I wanted to leave. And it's obviously about the money, right? The pay is just not that great. And what we've come to realize after, years of history repeating itself, the economy just hasn't been so great over the last years, and it's just relatively unstable. Like it's been unstable for years. And so we know that our pay is just not as strong, especially when you look at it from an international standpoint. If you're going to go travel, if you are going to, you know, buy things online, um, it gets affected quite heavily. And as the as the economy starts to, you know, remain relatively, you know, low, the effects of what the inflation and the prices of everything else is going up. So that is the most obvious front facing thing that you notice about the struggle, right? And we all notice it in different ways. One of my, wake up calls, and it's funny, is For my guys out there that go to the combinis, right? You just know the prices of everything. And in 7-Eleven, they have like this one fish burger, fried fish tartar sauce sandwich. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? The real ones, you know what I'm talking about. I swear to God, this burger was always like below 200 yen. It was like 170 or like 190 something, right? This goddamn burger is nearly 300 fucking yen. I was like, what the hell? Are you serious? Like, we can go on and on about these indicators of the struggle being tough, right? Um, so that's the most obvious reason to start with is the pay being low, and then you have your time, right? I wanted to leave my job because I was seriously working crazy hours. I was working like between 10 a.m. all the way up until like leaving the office at 10 p.m. because my job had all kinds of irregular schedules. Like, you got to be in the office by 10 in the morning, and then you leave at 10, like before 10 p.m. But in between, you have all these pockets of nothingness, like all these gaps. And I wanted to have more time for myself to do regular shit. Like, I'm talking about reading books, I'm talking about gymming, I'm talking about taking care of myself, like watching Netflix, movies, like regular shit. These are the kinds of things that I didn't even have time for myself. And I'm sure that you also are struggling with something like this as well, right? Where you're not really having enough time for yourself. Like, come on, guys, like the weekend, like Saturday, Sunday, that's it. That's all the time that we have to kind of catch up on ourselves. Like, come on, that's crazy. So, time for ourselves is another factor. But then the third one is having more time to, kind of travel, having more time and that luxury to enjoy, a trip here and there. Because when we're working in our jobs, obviously we got to stick with the calendar that we're working within, right? You probably have a couple of days out of the week so that you can, enjoy your time out so you can do some trips or whatever. But yeah, it's just the time to do all that stuff. And I'll be honest, I'm not really a big traveler like at all. A lot of people say they want to travel more even when they don't really travel, but what they're really saying is they want to have that option to travel if they could. They want to have that power to say that they can go and travel, or that they do travel, or they can travel, right? Even though they don't necessarily do it. But so, coming back to my story, I want to tell you guys is that after I quit my job and I started to make 10K per month working online, which I'm going to tell you the exact vehicle that I used to get there in a second. But when it happened and I started to have more financial independence, I started to have more time for myself, I started to be able to travel more, I started to realize something. And it was that my reasons for wanting to live this lifestyle, wanting to maintain this certain way of living where I'm working remotely, I'm making more money, I'm uh, having more time for myself, right? I started to realize is my reasons for living this lifestyle, it kind of changed compared to my initial reasons for why I wanted to quit. Okay. And it was later on to be because I started to travel more this year. I started to go around the country and experience a little bit of the other parts. And it really dawned on me when it comes to simple things like the appreciation of the culture and the country itself, right? I know for a fact that for a lot of people, I'd say more than like this might be my own like opinion. It's just a random statistic. You can just throw it out there confidently just by knowing, right? A lot of people when they come to Japan, they came here because you have like this inclination of, something about this place. Whether it was the influence of anime or it was like video games like Nintendo, Capcom, um, or what else is there? History, right? We're talking about samurais, ninjas, um, sumo wrestling, Tokyo Drift, like movies, like all these things kind of draw us to coming to Japan, and and then the actual like authentic culture, right? The real like experiencing the real country and everything like all of those like you know authentic stuff, learning the language, without that external pressure of, you know if you studied it back in university and you had to cram everything just because you had all these tests, and then you kind of lose that passion for learning the arts, of why, how the people are, how the language is spoken, and really just building connections, right? Relationships, and having that deeper overall appreciation for the country as a whole, right? Being having that privilege to really live in Japan and experience this country is, I believe, something that we a lot of us really overlook, right? Um, is something that we all take for granted at some point because when it's like summer and there's like a matsuri, it's like a summer festival, or some kind of random event, or just the food and things like that. Like sometimes we gotta wake up and just be like, fuck, like years ago, this is my dream to actually be here and be immersed in this entire like this world, because it is a world here, right? It's a completely different planet. But over the years, when you're working your job and you're restricted with your income, you're restricted with your time, you're restricted with your location, we don't have that luxury to experience Japan for what it is. And that's what I started to realize. The more I started to travel more this year, now that I could, now that I can, because I'm in this position, like I'm just woken up by the fact that, you're surrounded by so much culture, you know, so much history, so much great things. It's literally around you every day when you get outside your house, you walk outside, it's literally around you. But because you have these obligations, you can't even feel it. Isn't that weird? It's like it's weird as hell. And so that's something that I personally started to realize once you get in that position where you're not on like, you know, um survival mode, right? When you're on survival mode, you don't give a fuck about anything but, well, when do I get paid? When do I get my money and I pay off my bills and I get some food in my stomach and I'm good, right? This is survival mode. And I'll tell you, this is a low vibration. You don't want to stay in this mindset. And I totally get it because I was there too. But to wrap everything up, right? I made this course. I made this community group on this platform called School. If you know or if you don't know, basically it's this platform where people come to learn about things. And for my course specifically, I show people exactly how to get the results that I got, which is making $10,000 per month in the vehicle, which I did, which was high ticket sales. I'm going to show you guys exactly how I build a system that allows you to have not only the results, but to have them consistently over and over and over again. Because once you break out, once you escape the salaryman life, the English teaching life, whatever 9 to 5 life that you are working with currently in Japan, once you leave that world, you never want to go back. You never want to go back there, ever. That's why the system is going to allow you to get out and stay out and appreciate your freedom. So if I were you, if I were you, right, I would literally go to this video, go to the description, wherever it is, find that link. The course, by the way, is not done. I'm making it right now. I'm like 40% finished, but you want to keep an eye on it because once it's complete, all the first members that join it, you're going to get in with lifetime access and a discounted rate. And then once it's up, it's up. Because I swear to God, this is going to change your life like it did mine. And it took me fucking 2 years to get to this point where I navigated this whole space and try to figure it out. It took me like a couple years to do this. You can literally have the same results in a couple of months. Swear to God. As long as you just follow these steps, I'm gonna lay it up in a platter for you to just take it. Because I know what it's like being in that trap, and I'm so fucking glad that I'm never, ever, ever going back. All right, so keep in touch. I don't know any outro because I just made this video on a whim, but yo, we going. Let's fucking go, man. Subscribe. Don't be a bitch. Nah, I'm playing, but fuck it.